my company collaborate with a lot of partners, and then one of the partner called Revcom is recording online なんていうの商談usually like a business situation, you have a client and 商談 like a official meeting with your client, and then the salespeople want to see the excitement of the client, like which section they're interested in for
test
sale proposal. So they record the voice, which section they're interested in, also the number of the words. One sale similar proposal. So they record the voice, which section they're interested in, also the number of the words. They're more one main focus of the voice input, not in any physical section they're interested in. They're more one main focus of the voice input, not in any physical section they're interested in. They're more one main focus of the voice input, not in any physical section. 聞こえない気がする。これはオフィシャルカラオケですね。聞こえない気がする。これはオフィシャルカラオケですね。これはオフィシャルカラオケですね。Yay! My big fans! これはオフィシャルカラオケですね。Yay! My big fans! こんにちは。Yay! My big fans! こんにちは。
はい、皆様ご来場ありがとうございます。ちょっとこれから少しトークセッションを始めていきたいと思いますので、もしお時間ある方、ぜひこちらの方でお休みがてら座っていただければと。皆様ご来場ありがとうございます。これから少しトークセッションを始めていきたいと思いますので、もしお時間ある方、ばかりのホリレイヤーがてら。で、その後、3年前に卒業した2人に、EM で EM およびその後みたいなことで、いただきたいな、3年前に卒業したいうふうに思ってます。じゃあ、EM で EM エリザベスおよびその後みたいなことで、いただきたいな、3年前に卒業したいうふうに思ってます。じゃあ、EM で EM エリザベスおよびその後みたいなことで、お願いします。じ
about what you did in KMD?
What I did at KMD, so should I use the slide? ですね. Oh, by the way, this is to couple it. CRM, we send the CRM. Number one, by the way. And then paying attention not only the business itself, but also social impact. So I mainly, the research topic is to bridge the gap with the people with different language ability, especially online cross-language situation, because that's pretty much coming from my personal experience in study abroad. Usually when I talk, when I have a conversation with native speaker, I feel quite a pressure or like also the stress.
Your English is pretty good.
ありがとうございます。Like not to make a mistake or like feel being monitored by someone, but I feel that experience is not only for me, can be applied to any other people having their second, third language in the process. So my question, how might we like less stress for that process to learn more the second, third language to get a fun, rather than feel like
So can you tell us a little bit more about your GID life?
So man, when I mentioned the people, I would say like my research target is a person learning second, third language or being a study abroad, right? And without having that experience, I can't put that insight to my research. So I thought first I needed to have myself to experience that pressure or like isolation. So that's the reason why I joined a GRD.
And you joined it right before the COVID, right?
So right before the COVID.
When did you came back? How was New York and London?
Being in the time in London is I didn't have any like effects by COVID. That was very fun. And actually, I contacted one of my friends going the language school in London during that time. So I contacted that principal. Can I observe the class situation, how the students interact each other, or also trying to see the atmosphere. Then get the opportunity to do the field work and talk to some of the international students to hear their experience living abroad. And that input from that interview with them pretty much applied to my this product, like course is product.
So can you tell us a little about your research in GID? I mean, you have it here.
Huh?
Can you tell us a little bit more? Can you show us actually a little bit more about life in GID?
やばいね。That was trying to represent how international students traveling to get information with the conversation. So this is like face matching game. So the person this side, which is a speaker, creating her own face and try to derive what kind of a face she made to the listener. So that person gonna replicate the face she made. But usually the conversation with the foreign language, like a native and non-native, for example, the speed or vocabulary make the non-native speaker too difficult to absorb what kind of information they're talking about. So that mic already a little bit coded makes the speech speed 2 times faster. So if that person speaks naturally, that makes 2 times faster already. So to make a natural speed or less, more slower, she has to motivate herself to accommodate their speech. So I just made some situation that the speaker has to modify herself to her speech behavior to consider the listener. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect
hard.
sense to me. And so right now, since you're so now that you are an OG, so when you look back, what did you enjoy the most in KMD? Would you say?
I would say collaboration. Because already the people in the community have a different, coming from a different background. Also, in my case, I try to contact outside of the school. So the Chian, the student with the skirt from my university Tokyo. Then, yeah, when I'm doing the research, I wanted to get more input. Inspiration for experimental setup plus also the topic itself. So I contacted first contacted different professor, and then that person introduced her, and then that like encounter introducing the new people is like coming again and again, and then that eventually creates some like a team. To seeing the collaboration shift, it's kind of fun. You're not gonna really see any business.
Yeah. So now that you're talking about business, let's talk a little bit more about your current activities. So let's go back to your previous slides. Tell us a little bit more about what activities you do now and how does it differ from your EM activities in the past?
So for my current job, I just finished my 4 months of training. So when I joined my current job is 1 month before.
Oh, really?
But so my job product marketing, which is when the headquarter produce. Release a new product, a new feature for the product. We trying to try to translate first in the Japanese market. Also trying to localize what kind of feature would be matched with the Japanese industry, which is not. Then we trying to think about the messaging, the strategy, how to sell those features and product in Japan. And my product domain is sales growth. Sales. The counter is the sales people. And the difference.
Yeah, the difference.
Difference.
Everything is different.
Definition of creation. In EM, you're gonna like make your research from scratch, right? Like even the idea, also the prototype itself, and experiment. So you have ownership for every step and everything you have in a research, which is tough, but at the same time fun. But in business, most of the ownership, especially like the contents, you can't touch it. Like the company has ownership. So when I'm in charge of in terms of creation is more delivery. How that delivery, that meaning why that feature is important in the market, and then why the product we think is work in people working for the company. So that なんていうのかね、なんか売り方だけど、the sales play, how we define the product looks better to the clients.
So that is very different, I would say, like what you are
I guess so.
specifically doing. So how did your EM experience lead you to that job? When did you decide to take this job? How did you find it? You know, we have a lot of current students sitting here. It would be very good if you can give them some advice on finding jobs and
What's the first question?
How did you decide on this job? Yeah, how does your EM,
how the experience in EM
leads to your current decision to the job, or it's completely different and irrelevant?
The first why I decided to work for the company instead of staying in academic is I just want to. I shouldn't say a negative point for the academic, but like most of your output for the research is submitting a thesis for conference. You can't really see the customers like reaction to your ideas. So I kind of wanted to see the reaction from the users. Even though I said, oh, my research is something that should be working in that situation, but how the real customer is saying to my idea and to just answer my like no, why are you laughing? Oh, okay. Yeah, just so I kind of wanted to get closer to the customer, so I thought, oh, maybe like I just work in the company first. Then if I wanted to back to the academic, and then yeah, just do it later. Just want to see the more option to see my career idea. So
yeah, we know that Rhea, you've been one of the top students while you were in EM, and everyone was like, yeah, is Rhea not going to academia after this? So do you think you might come back to school? Do a PhD later in the future?
Seeing a
because
face
you are very
of
talented.
everyone. More possibilities. Maybe no, half and half.
Half and half, yeah. Okay. So right now, since you're an OG now, we can ask you this: is there
OG.
something you would say, I should have done this while I was
Should have done this.
Yeah.
そうね。まあ I never joined in the EM collaboration project while I'm in EM. I'm only more focused on my self project, which is nice, but maybe if I could have a chance and join.
Sorry, that's the new meeting. Was it there when you were in EM? Have you seen it before today?
This guy?
The new,
Kind of. No, I'll ignore him. Yeah, well, I think if I had a chance, I wanted to participate in one of the projects. That's kind of like a medium, right? Like academic and working in a business, and that collaboration with a corporate project can see the demand from the company side, but also we have a space to create some ideas. So それが良かったかな。もしよければ。
So since you're here today, have you experienced some of the projects showed here today? Is there anyone, like if you have a chance, you will want to collaborate or work on?
The painful one. So this year, one of my goals is to get better in pool, but I need to get the better to pool. I need a partner who are familiar with the pool. So if the avatar can be my like a trainer or a partner to practice with a beard, might be cool.
Okay.
So the collaboration, this guy and that one.
That's very sporty. Are you like a sport now? Now that you're working, do you have time to do sports, workout while you're working?
ないね。Busy.
No, like work-life balance.
Ooh. Well,
Which is worse? No, which is better actually? While you were in EM.
oh, definitely work in the company. That life in EM is so hectic.
So for the ping pong, as a product marketing manager now, like if you have a chance, how would you do the marketing for it?
Oh, that's a tough question. Do you? Any like the plan to promote the ping pong idea? What about Kane? I need time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think now that we're running out of time on our interview, so one last question. What advice would you give to current EM students and maybe some potential ones that are looking at this interview right now and want to know, does it work to join EM?
ですね、as I said, ownership, you need ownership in everything you're related to in research. So I see some people in KMD, where I'm in KMD, kind of expect the professor to tell something to do, but it's graduate school and you are the only one person can bring the idea to your research. You shouldn't put the responsibility on other people to accommodate your research. So I guess having the ownership, don't expect so much from the other, especially teachers, to do right thing. The how to light is the you to create and define. それかな。
Thank you for coming today, Maria.
Don't go! Oh, it's gonna be live! I got a class on summer for the next speaker.
Is this one after the other?
I guess so. So maybe we can
Should we just wait now, or?
You want to control your own slide?
Yeah. Ray, your slides are so beautiful. I threw mine together in Google Slides.
Yeah, he told me that.
Readability!
All right. My slide's pale in comparison to hers, so don't worry about that. Is it on Google Slides?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
But don't worry, you have enough content.
Okay.
It's more about the content rather than the design. Do you know my phone?
Sure.
Oh.
There you go. Oh, cool. Oh, we got spinning too. That's dangerous.
So first, Tanner, how does it feel to come back here today at this venue? What do you think?
I think this venue feels very embodied media.
What does that mean? Can you elaborate a little bit?
I feel like there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of tech. There's a lot of different colors. There's a lot of action, activity. Just feels very, sensational, I guess. Yeah.
So is it very different from when you were here, or is it still similar?
Yeah.
Well,
so the big difference for me versus now is that Corona happened, and I graduated in 2018, so before all of that. So I feel like that's the biggest difference. Everyone's got masks, but in terms of the quality of everything itself, I think it's very similar. Yeah.
So you were there in 2018. Did you join the previous EM exhibition? Were you there?
No. Wait, which one? One last year?
2018 March. I heard there was a previous EM exhibition at Shibuya. No.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was 2019. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's one for like students, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it differ from today's?
Well, I haven't.
Tell us a little bit more about your experience from the previous event, because none of us sitting here was there when that happened.
Yeah, well, I don't have much experience with that, but I can, if you want, I can maybe just go over some of my experience at KMD, and then we can like work off from that, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Just first off, just thanks to you all for being here, and I hope I can give you some interesting information that you can use at some point in your life. Let me just share. So I graduated in 2018. And you can just see some, pre-mask life. No mask life, yeah. So just some fun, graduated. That was the graduation day.
Who are these people? Do I know any of them? No.
Yeah, I don't know if you know anybody. This is like 2018, but it is a bunch of my people in my graduating class, my family. Sean, he likes cats.
I don't think we had that graduation ceremony.
No,
in
yeah.
that venue.
I'm sorry about COVID, stuff. Yeah, this was at Mita. And then, I don't know, I'm really interested in virtual reality, and that's one of the reasons I came to KMD, and especially Embodied Media, right? And so I don't know if you know, I actually got to be famous for one day in Japan.
Really?
There was a huge typhoon. Yeah, and I think 2018, 2019. And I was living right by the river, Tamagawa River, so we actually got kind of sent to an evacuation center. And so I actually ended up using VR, and then somebody like recorded it on Twitter. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I ended up getting like millions of views.
Camera zooming. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So it was like my little moment of fame, but yeah, they called me like VR Nikki.
Yeah.
Nikki. Yeah, well, it was just really fun, and but you know, I've just been really involved in VR since before I came here, and that's why I came.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
What game are you playing there?
What game? I was playing Beat Saber, of course. Yeah, everyone knows Beat Saber.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So this was from my previous job. Yeah, and so they came. Some of my kohai and my doki came to visit, or dorio, right?
Yeah, that's Pi and
Yeah.
Lee.
You might know some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know all of them?
Wait, who do you know? This is one of my best friends, Steph. You probably don't know her. She's from the same batch.
Which
you know
project
them.
was she in?
She was in Kyoto and Geist. Yeah. But you probably know them.
Yeah,
and then
we
Pi
know.
came back recently, right?
Yeah, Pi is probably watching it right now. So say hi to
Hi,
Pi.
Yeah. So I've been very lucky to be connected to my kohai and just to people after they've stayed in touch. So I've been really happy to share my experience before, and so I'm really happy that you invited me on here to do this.
For coming here
Yeah,
too.
it's great. Yeah. And then you're
Wow. Oh. Cigarette.
Yeah.
So which cigarette did you join?
So I joined the 2017 in LA, Los Angeles, and then I also got to join the SIGGRAPH Asia in Tokyo in 2018. So I know you're asking about like different like projects that I was involved in, right? So these are just a few of my projects. One of them, so you see here, the major two were this one called Altered Touch, which was it was like a piece of the Telexistence robot, which you might know, right? The big robot that's like moving around, right? So, so I got to help with the create the augmented reality like application for the one this like the updated like finger sensing thing that so I was helping make the AR application, and then just other various projects. I mean, I got featured in somehow I got connected to some like Middle Eastern like news channel.
You went to the Dubai International Film Festival. Wow.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest highlights of my KMD experience, I think.
Wow, can you tell us a little bit more about it? How was Dubai? Did you go there with like EM people?
Yeah, EM was actually how I got connected because Minazawa Sensei and EM were invited by like one of the there was like a queen or princess that was putting all this on, and then she actually was connected to us somehow. I don't know how. So Minazawa Sensei is very connected somehow.
Yeah.
So So they basically invited us, so we got to exhibit a few of our EM projects there. At the kind of emerging technology space. So there's a huge beautiful elaborate film festival going on, and then we got to be part of the kind of innovative future tech section.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I think that goes into what one of the special things about Embodied Media is just how I feel like there's such amazing opportunities that you can find. And I'm not sure how that relates to other projects at KMD, but I think definitely at EM, I was at least personally given many opportunities to do something. I know COVID has probably affected that. But in general, I think there's a lot of options. I mean, I've heard that the Moonshot
we have
project is huge. I don't really know the details at all, but it seems like there's a lot of opportunity there, right?
Yeah. I mean, COVID stopped some of our previous projects, but it also brings us new opportunities. Like what can be the new tech after COVID.
Yeah.
And then I think since COVID, like the whole trend just switched, and then we're all changing that. So can you tell us like what activities, the activities you are doing right now, how does it differ from EM?
Oh, yeah. So in Embodied Media, my main thing that I was involved in was virtual reality, right?
Yeah.
And actually, recently, I haven't been working in VR for the last year. I was actually working for a very different company. I was more in the business space, and they were more focused on meditation and mindfulness, as well as creativity innovation. And they were helping make better business leaders by instilling like a better sense of mindfulness into their lives, and helping them through creative workshops. So I was actually helping them with the digitization of their products because of COVID, right? But unfortunately, that company actually, as of just the end of last month, has closed because of COVID.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Actually, the stuff I've been doing for like quite a while now is actually finished. But my current project that I'm working on is actually with a company called Optimal XR, and they're actually combining virtual reality with meditation as well, and specifically Tibetan Buddhism meditation. So it's all about like bringing compassion and a sense of awareness to your daily life. So I'm going to be helping with them as like kind of the lead VR designer for them.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. So I know you just said that the company you've been working for just closed, but how did you find it? Like, when did you decide that you're going to work for this company? What would be your career advice for all of the current students?
Well, so I guess I have KMD to thank for that, because I actually found the previous company through a connection I made here. Because it's kind of a long story how I got to that place.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. I guess just briefly. So, like I said, one of the amazing things about KMD and Embodied Media is the connections that you make, like the opportunities that are opened up, right? So I ended up actually, after graduating, I started working with Enhance. Enhance is the company that made the Res Infinite suit, right? So I was working with them actually for a while, and a few things happened, but I ended up switching jobs. But I stayed really good friends with those people and maintained those connections. And actually, after COVID hit, actually the company I was working for closed as well due to COVID. I think I have some sort of bad luck with COVID and jobs, So that happened. But amazingly, one of my previous kind of like supervisors at Enhance actually connected me with that job. So he was talking with one of their people, and then they're like, "Oh, I might be a good fit for them." So he kind of made those connections. So I think that's just, I don't know, beautiful thing about life is having those connections, right? And then luckily the skills that I have matched the need for that company. So that's kind of how it came about.
I think your EM life is pretty awesome, right? But is there anything you would say that I should have done this while I was in EM?
What should I have done?
Is there something you regret not doing?
I think the major thing that I failed at in KMD was just I didn't study Japanese enough. So I didn't do a good enough job making connections to all the Japanese students that were in Embodied Media, right? Because Embodied Media is primarily Japanese students, right? And they all come from the spring batch, and I felt like there was quite a divide, at least in my batch, between like the Japanese students from the spring batch and then the fall batch with all the international students. So I really wish that I had spent more time studying Japanese, but it's like you're in grad school already, you're already spending all this time just for the project, and I came to Japan with no Japanese skills at all, like I had nothing. So it was just like, I just kind of put that to the side. Then we got this going on over here. Oh yeah. Just take a moment to appreciate that.
So can you speak any Japanese now?
Yeah, mama.
Like
mama.
a lot?
ちょっと話せる。
Oh,
Yeah,全然. I can only speak a little bit still. But
so
yeah.
I think we're running out of time now. So one last question. What advice would you give to the current EM students?
Yeah, just like you're saying. Except that. Not that. Besides that, I would say just enjoy the connections that you make as much as possible, because I think those are the things that really last. Of course, the work that you put in is really important, that's the main reason that you're going to this grad school is for those. But I think that the connections will last a long time as well. And I've always been very appreciative and grateful for all the connections I've made here. There's just some really amazing people that come to KMD from all different places of life. And those connections will last, especially, I don't know, if you're an international student, you make connections with the Japanese people, and then you have that lifelong connection. If you're a Japanese student and you connect with the international students, you have the world opens up, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
That's really good advice. Yeah. So thank you, Tanner, for coming today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Bye, pie. Didn't even get to show you the project I was working on.